Perfect. Perfect.
It's interesting. For once, the Sixers had the less drama-filled offseason. The Celtics have had a ton going on. They have a first-time head coach in there tomorrow, 34 years old, Joe Mazzulla. Robert Williams is out. And, I've heard a couple guys are day-to-day. I believe the rest of the squad will play. They went out and signed Blake Griffin. I don't know if he's going to play or if it's going to be Al Horford matchup on Joel Embiid. It's going to be a crazy game, but I just feel right now with the Sixers going into Boston tomorrow that we should be confident, right? The Sixers need to come out and make a statement. Would you agree? And do you think the Sixers will come out much more prepared and ready to show up on the road?
I tend to think that the first week of the NBA the first couple weeks of the NBA are pretty much chalk. Like the teams that are favored tend to win in most cases. I would say that the Sixers have an opportunity to capitalize because Robert Williams is out. That's a really big change in defensive difficulty in terms of what Embiid has to go up with on offense. So I think they have a very fine chance. Boston still has their switchy wings, so we will see. I do know that it's what once appeared to be a very, very daunting first 2-game slate with Milwaukee and Boston, or the other way around, Boston and Milwaukee, is a little less daunting with each team now being down a starter. But I think really like a matchup like tomorrow is why you have PJ Tucker. I'm one to think that I do tend to think that Jayson Tatum is overrated to some degree. I think people anoint him as like a superstar, and I'm just like, this dude is like a tier below that, if you ask me. But PJ Tucker is going to get up on him. He's going to force him to take long contested fadeaway jumpers and get him uncomfortable. He could have a 6 for 19 game tomorrow, and then that leaves, but then again, you have Jaylen Brown, who's a problem, and we'll see if the Sixers have the personnel to counteract that. But I do know that, they bring Montrezl Harrell on the court. Jaylen Brown loves to get into that mid-range and operate around the free throw line area and the elbows. So that could be a problem in the pick and roll. We'll see it, but I definitely think that over an 82 game season, this team's going to rack up a ton of wins.
Interesting.
There's no reason this shouldn't be the best season they've had in over a decade.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I think you have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it's a must at this point, especially in Embiid's career. Other than PJ Tucker, is there any other guys you think could have a big game tomorrow? Maybe like a good matchup or just anything, a guy that might stick out tomorrow that maybe not a lot of people are looking at?
Montrezl Harrell. I think I just don't know who's going to be the guy on the Celtics that's going to be able to keep him from getting to the rim and keep him from eating. I mean, that dude looked so good on offense in preseason. Like his defensive woes are what they are, and they're significant, but those don't really matter until the playoffs come. This dude is going to absolutely just train wreck everybody. I mean, whether it's an offensive rebound and him just finding a way around somebody and just dunking it home, if it's a dump off that the other night against Charlotte, like Harden lobbed a pass inside to him and he caught it, and there were like 4 Hornets converging on him, and he was protecting the ball, sheltering it, keeping it tucked into with his arms, and then as soon he just shakes them all off, and then he goes and lays it up, and then he created he basically manhandled them inside, and they were all over him, and that's the kind of player he is offensively. So I think he has a chance against the team that is missing an interior threat defensively. I think he has a chance to go off, and off for him might be 16 points, 7 rebounds in 17, 18 minutes.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. He's an absolute freak on the court. And I go back to what you said last time on the show. He is not a minimum player. Like we got so lucky that he fell right in our laps, and it's just the energy. Like he wants to play. He's ready at any moment when you call his number, and he just brings a different level of toughness off this bench. I'm so excited to see him play, man.
Yeah, I mean, like the fans complain about, why would you get him when you have Paul Reed? It isn't about what you have in Paul Reed. It's about the fact that you have an opportunity to get that kind of value at a minimum deal. You can't pass that up. That's like that's a massive win on the margins if you can have that off your bench.
Absolutely. All right, before I get you out of here, appreciate you coming through, of course. I need a prediction, man. I don't know if you're ready for it. If you're ready to issue, I know you dropped the preview. Hopefully you dropped the prediction, but Do the Sixers. By the way, here's my prediction. I think we're going to stomp the Celtics. I think we're going to alert everybody tomorrow night, but maybe that's just the homer in me. Austin Krell's official prediction, do the Sixers go into Boston, first game of the NBA season, and take down the reigning Eastern Conference champions?
Nope. Well, I have them. I think it's going to be a 116 to 108 loss.
Oh, and why? What'll be the biggest contributor to us losing that game?
I just think that if you have like a second PJ Tucker, I would be more confident. But let's say PJ limits Jayson Tatum, then they have Jaylen Brown. Who's going to stop? Who's going to take Jaylen Brown out of a game and stop him? 3 possessions out of 5.
Hey.
And I tend to just go more chalk again, like I said in the first couple of weeks. There's going to be some turnovers. This is an elite defense, it should be at least. I think when you have a turnover-prone guard like James Harden and you're trying to figure out some new things in the court, turnovers are bound to happen. I think they'll play them tough. They'll play them close, but I give the edge to the home team tomorrow.